We have lost the fear of God in the church. Because so many Christians no longer fear God, it has sparked a great falling away from the faith. The fear of God may refer to reverence, but more often to a sense of awe and submission to God. 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 24 says, "Only fear the Lord with awe and profound reverence, and serve Him faithfully with all your heart. For consider what great things He has done for you." Unlike worldly fear that creates alarm and anxiety, godly fear is a source of peace, assurance, and confidence. The fear of God is totally different from being afraid of God. To be afraid of God means that we have something to hide, even though God knows all things. A lack of godly fear leads us to doing our own will. This disregard for God makes us foolish and does not lead to any kind of spiritual growth. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 says, "Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep His commandments. For this is the duty of all mankind." A God-fearing person is reverent toward God and lives his or her life in such a way that is morally right. When sin increases, it's because there's no fear of God in the land or in the people's heart. And where there is no fear of God, there is no limit to evil. People might say they honor God, but still believe that they can do whatever they desire. More and more people are living as if there is no God. So what happens when the fear of God is missing? Some Christians who don't fear God feel that it's okay to live together and not be married. Living together in a sexual, intimate relationship outside of marriage is displeasing to God. Living together before marriage is a sin because it violates God's commandments and the law of the church. We have Christians going to bars and nightclubs. To put it bluntly, nightclubs are a part of the world which is controlled by Satan. They are designed for the purpose of giving oneself over to sinful desires. Nightclubs exist primarily for two purposes: drinking alcohol and meeting members of the opposite sex, most often with sexual activity in mind. Christians who give themselves to this activity no longer fear God. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." The fear of the Lord prolongs our days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Psalms chapter 31 verse 19 says, "How great is your goodness, which you have laid up for those who fear you, which you have bestowed before the sons of men, on those who take refuge in you." If you find yourself running from God, you no longer fear God. It's truly a dangerous place to be. We should run to God, not from Him. So if you want to be wise and have a good life, start by fearing the Lord if you want to have good days. Sadly, many today, including Christians, have overlooked the importance of fearing God in their lives. It explains why many aren't afraid of sin and still live in it. Fearing God in this life is what will help you depart from evil and have good days here on earth. If you don't fear the Lord, you will do whatever you please and live a carefree, sinful life, reaping the consequences for doing so. For the wages of sin is death. When Isaiah prophesies about the coming king who would have the Spirit resting on him, the result is that his delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. Isaiah chapter 11 verses 2 and 3 says, "The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of the knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears." In Proverbs chapter 15, verse 33, the fear of the Lord is described as the discipline or instruction of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, relates more to respect and reverence for God than actual fear in its modern definition. Fearing God is knowing God, and this is where true wisdom lies. Proverbs also teaches us that people must submit to God's will. By doing so, we acquire wisdom. We have to choose to submit to God. For the process of learning in order to grow spiritually, it is a process begun at salvation and ongoing with each and every choice that we make to submit ourselves to God. Submission to God's authority brings freedom. It sets order and direction in our everyday lives for those who are found in Christ. And what is to follow is unimaginable blessing for those who are obedient. This process will continue until the Lord comes again, or He calls us home. The remarkable thing about God is that when you fear God, you fear nothing else. Whereas, if you do not fear God, you fear everything else. Please subscribe, like, and share this video. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you'll receive notification that another video has been added. Thank you for watching.